The white silk of my wedding gown felt like a promise woven into a cage. Today, the bells of Ethelwood would ring for me, Elara, the captain of the guard, and for Prince Kaelen, the heart of the realm. We were an unlikely match, the shield and the crown, but our love was forged in battle smoke and shared secret laughter, not court formality. Just hours. Just hours until I would be walking toward him, toward the rest of my life. I remember tracing the intricate silver embroidery on my sleeve, thinking only of Kaelen's smile, that brilliant, unguarded light he saved just for me. That's when the courier arrived. My final inspection of the western vault was meant to be a formality, a last duty before I shed the steel for the silk. Instead, I found a hastily scribbled cipher left by my most trusted scout. Not treason, but a warning of it. A faction of the Shadow Council, led by the deceitful Lord Vesper, was planning to use the ancient sunstone of Viridia during the ceremony. Its magic wouldn't kill Kaelen outright. It would turn him into a political puppet, a voiceless king. The knowledge hit me like a physical blow, driving the air from my lungs. My future, our future, vanished in a puff of cold dread. My duty was clear, but the threat was too vast for any sword. I fled the vault and raced to the oldest part of the castle, the hidden chamber where the ancient mage, Elder Lyra, kept her solitary vigil. She listened, her eyes centuries deep, and confirmed my fears. To save him, her voice was a dry whisper of ancient leaves. You must silence the spell's source. But that silence must become absolute. I stared at the glowing runes already swirling around my wrist, the vow of the golden silence. The threat relies on a critical moment of speech, she explained, her voice low. If you, the one who knows the truth, utter a single word regarding the plot, the vow will be revoked, and the magical backlash will shatter you. You will die instantly, and the plot will proceed. Your lips are sealed, Elara. Your mission is silent. The agony of the choice was unbearable. Speak and die now, leaving Kaelen unprotected and alone. Or remain silent, live, and become his shield, even if he believed I was his betrayer. I didn't choose the life of a princess. I chose the life of a guard. My oath to the crown to him was paramount. My voice failed me before I could even try a plea. I simply nodded, the golden runes sinking beneath my skin like chilling ink. I remember sprinting through the sun-drenched halls, pulling the gown from my body, replacing the silk with familiar protective leather. I could hear the initial chiming of the wedding bells, the festive noise now a cruel soundtrack to my own execution. I reached the outermost battlement. From here I could see the great hall. I didn't mean to look, but some desperate need forced my eyes up to the highest turret window. And there he was, Kaelen. He was dressed in his royal blues, clearly searching for a sign of me. His face etched with confusion. When he saw me, not walking toward the chapel, but vaulting the ramparts and sprinting toward the dark forest, confusion curdled into anguish. I saw the flash of public humiliation, followed by the cold, devastating light of betrayal bloom in his eyes. I could not call to him, could not explain. The vow was already working, clamping down on the single word that could save my reputation but kill my prince. I heard his muffled shout, my name, carried on the breeze, but the sound felt alien. It was the last thing I heard before the forest swallowed me. The journey to the remote northern border tower was a blur of aching silence and self-loathing. Every beat of my heart cried out the words, I didn't abandon you. I love you more than breath itself. But the vow held me fast. Now I sit in this desolate stone box, the chill seeping into my bones. My mission is here, monitoring the ancient ley lines that keep the Sunstone's power suppressed. My life is reduced to silent vigilance. I look at the moon and whisper the words only my mind can hear. My love, my king, you think I chose my duty over you. I need someone, anyone, to find you and tell my love I am sorry. Weeks had become a hollow measure of time, marked only by the shifting shadows in the tower window. I ate, I monitored the ley lines, I trained until exhaustion claimed me, hoping to silence the screaming in my heart. But the silence outside was only amplifying the noise within. The The city papers, smuggled to me by my loyal scout, painted the picture in harsh ink. Prince Kaelen betrayed by low-born guard captain. The stories detailed the spectacle of the abandoned altar and the subsequent political fallout. They did not need to print Kaelen's reaction. The memory of his face at the turret window was permanently seared into my vision. He didn't just feel scorn, he felt abandoned. I read that he had ordered the burning of our quarters, the small set of rooms where we planned our lives. The silver embroidery of the wedding tunic, the books we shared, the private sketches I'd drawn of him. All turned to ash. I couldn't blame him. I had given him every reason to believe I valued something, anything, more than him. The political machine, seeing a vulnerable heir, moved swiftly. The papers soon announced his new alliance, Lady Seraphina of the Western Marches. Elegant, calculating, and with a lineage as old as the castle stone. A perfect match for a prince who needed stability, not a silent, disgraced former guard. The image of them together, Kaelen looking stiff but resolutely looking ahead, stabbed me deeper than any sword. He was rebuilding his world and I was not in it. I couldn't endure the distance. The threat had stabilized for a time, granting me a sliver of freedom, though the vow remained fixed and deadly. I needed to see his face to prove to myself he was safe, and to leave some small testament to the truth. Under the cloak of a moonless night, cloaked and masked with the dirt of the road, I slipped back into the palace grounds, the place I had sworn to protect, now my enemy territory. My movements were instinctual, a ghost tracing the steps of the woman I used to be. I reached the outside of his private solar. The light was dim. He was likely in a council meeting or perhaps standing stiffly beside Lady Seraphina. I scaled the ivy and reached his windowsill, just as I had done 1,000 times before for midnight rendezvous. I reached into the pouch at my belt and pulled out the small, smooth stone we used to call the wishing pebble. We had found it years ago on a secret beach. It was entirely unremarkable to anyone else, but for us it was the repository of every shared dream, every quiet ambition. I placed it carefully on the sill, a silent, humble prayer that he might remember the truth buried beneath the lies. I watched for a moment, waiting, hoping for a flicker of movement within. Nothing. I melted back into the shadows, the silence of my throat matched by the terrifying stillness of the night. The next morning, from a distance across the royal gardens, I saw a footman cleaning the sill. Kaelen was standing nearby, rigid, speaking to an officer. The footman paused, picked up the wishing pebble, and held it out to Kaelen. Kaelen took the stone. His brows furrowed for a fleeting instant. Did he recognize it? Did the memory sting? Then, with a dismissive, violent twitch of his wrist, he tossed the pebble, our pebble, into the thicket of overgrown roses. It vanished without a sound.
Did you enjoy the video? Then don't miss out on Tempo de General. Hit that like button, drop a comment and let me know what you thought, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next videos.